What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Flame back here with another video. So I've been OTR for about 7 months. If you don't know, that means over the road truck driver for about 7 months now. So I just wanted to make a video just covering kind of the lifestyle and the adjustments I had to make, and just kind of my thoughts and my feelings about it so far. I was super excited at first, and I just wanted to make a video more so about the lifestyle. I made a couple other videos talking about my experience at Swift, which is the company I work for, but you know, this was going to be kind of more just living on the road pretty much. So to start off, let's just talk about driving, learning like how to maneuver and just being by myself, because I started off with a mentor. I was with them for like 4 or 5 weeks, and then once I went solo, which was January of this year, that's when like the anxiety was the highest, because I was never the greatest backer. So there was an element of self-doubt, just wondering if I'm gonna be one of those people that really just cannot get it down. And but that's pretty much been alleviated right now. I truly do feel like even after doing this for a few months, that anybody can learn how to drive a truck, how to back a truck, assuming that they have proper training and just the time behind the wheel with somebody, and then just learning and just going through the mistakes. Really, I made a lot of mistakes at first. I still make mistakes now, but I really just try to take it slow. But yeah, I just feel like it's a lot to grasp at first. Just the trip planning, trying to figure out what navigation to use. Like I use multiple now, because sometimes you just don't really know. You don't know where you're going any of the time, really, unless you've been there already, unless you've been around the country multiple times. But I rarely ever go to the same spot twice, so it's just kind of learning how to use different things to find the entrance to places, and then knowing what kind of roads to avoid, and just really being locked in on the actual trip planning aspect of it. Because at first, like when I was going to places, man, it just felt like I was just wandering into like the unknown all the time. And the anxiety was at the highest with my ELD, like my clock, managing my clock. But that all just comes with time, and I feel like now I'm just kind of like I'm just now entering into that intermediate driver experience. Like I'm still a beginner, but I'm just there's not too much anxiety, even when there's a space where it's super tight. It's a little irritating and frustrating while I'm there, but it doesn't really like mess with me too much. Even before, like when I'm approaching a place, I used to be scared, bro. I used to be super scared just to get off the interstate, and knowing that I'm gonna have to back. But now it just comes with time. So I really feel like anybody could get it down. If you knew, just get out and look, do what you need to do. Just make sure you're really prioritizing everything that you learn. I'm assuming that you had a good trainer. So yeah, that's really it when it comes to the driving. Just learning how to manage your clock, trip planning, and then just trial and error as far as the maneuvering and the driving and stuff. There's mistakes to be made. You just gotta hope that it's not gonna be nothing detrimental. Well, driving aside, one of my main concerns coming into driving over the road was if I was gonna be lonely or not. And just being socially isolated, like getting real awkward around people. That was one of my biggest concerns, and it hasn't really been like that at all. And I feel like that could be possible, but before I was driving, I was living alone in a different city, and I just felt like it kind of really prepared me, because I'm not gonna get into it, but I was really in a situation where I was very isolated. But I don't really feel that way now. I just feel like I have a good social structure. Like I talk to a lot of people over the phone, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. It's not like you're going to be going weeks or even days without seeing anybody and interacting with people. You're interacting with people every day, whether it's at the shipper, the customer, people at truck stops. So that hasn't really been an issue. Now loneliness is kind of a separate thing. Like I wouldn't say at first. Well, at first I did get lonely. Like my first couple weeks, I really did feel like I was out here on my own, which I am. But it kind of went away after my second trip, after I got home a couple times and got accumulated back into the routine of getting into my truck. I mean, your truck really becomes like your safe haven after a while. I love kicking it in the truck. It just, just everything's here. So the loneliness, it could be an aspect. If you have nobody to talk to, I'm sure it could really start weighing down on you. But you just gotta have, even if you're not the type of person that really likes to reach out to people, you gotta kind of build those connections. And then I've met a lot of other truckers on the road. I got their numbers and stuff, but I really just keep it to like family and friends. I haven't really ventured out too much besides my mentor, who I talk to occasionally. But yeah, you just gotta go out and just make sure that you have people that you can talk to. And then yeah, so other than that, I do feel like one thing that I have been realizing is because I'm really in the midst of it, so I'm going out 3-4 weeks at a time, and when I do get back home, it's like you do miss. I don't have a family either, so it's probably worse if you do have a family that you're the head, whether you're a mom or a dad, have kids. I missed out on a lot of time, and I do feel like coming in as a rookie, it's kind of like the buy-in to the trucking industry. Like, you have to have this phase where you're just out here for 3-4 weeks at a time before you can get into the more lucrative sides of trucking. I don't think I could do like strict OTR 3-4 weeks out for like an extended period of time. I kind of have an exit plan. I mean, that's my main goal, is to get my own truck eventually, and then get somebody in as a driver. But if that wasn't an option, or not even like something that I was relying on and having in the back of my mind, I don't think honestly that I could maintain this career for like an extended period of time. I'm talking 10 years plus. I mean, now I'm willing to do whatever is necessary to put me in a position where I could thrive as an owner operator, and having a small fleet. But if that was not a thing, I don't think I could do it. Just because when I get home, like last time I was home, back home in Florida, I was in Miami, and I was just around family, and man, it really does, you realize just how much time you're missing out on. And it's tempting sometimes, like, man, I could find another avenue where I could be home every day. But that is the one thing that has been bothering me a little bit. But I just understand that's kind of the price that you pay, especially coming in. But like I do realize that there's more lucrative opportunities once you get some years under your belt, even outside of being an owner operator. There's opportunities to get home. I talk to people all the time, especially like car haulers, be home every weekend, or just get multiple times a week. But it's like a buy-in. You have to do this. So that is also one to cover, is like hygiene, fitness, and nutrition. Because that was another one of my concerns. Like, am I gonna be going days without showering? Because that wasn't really an option for me. And then before I had started driving, like, I was working out on a very strict routine. I was pretty rigorous with my fitness and stuff, and also nutrition. I didn't want to be eating like out every day. And I will say you're able to do all of that. You're able to maintain like some type of fitness routine and eat good if you're willing to do it after long days. Like, there has been a period of time, like, I just started cooking again. I literally just started cooking again, but for the past month I've been eating out multiple times a day, and all the stuff out here is trash. Like, all the options at the truck stop, and it's not like you could just pull into somewhere that's even somewhat healthy because you have a trailer, unless you're bobtailing. But all those things that I mentioned before, it's all possible. Like, you can maintain a fitness routine, working out multiple times a week. I do now, but you have to be willing to do that after like hours of driving. It might be 2-3 o'clock at night, and it's up to you if you're gonna be able to do that consistently, after hard days. And also with the same thing with showering, make sure you're washing your face, brushing your teeth. Sometimes it's tough. You pull like an 11-hour day, and you finally get parked up, and there's still things that need to be done. But it's very easy to just say, forget it, I'm just gonna go to sleep. And then that next day you might have to get right back on the road, and before you know it, you're missing out on all the things that you need to be prioritizing. So definitely easier said than done. Working out, I'm able to do it like 2 or 3 times a week. Whenever I get the chance to drop the trailer and I'm bobtailing, I'll go to a Planet Fitness. But realistically, the game is you need to get dumbbells. I need to get dumbbells. I've been planning on doing it. It's so easy. They're relatively cheap, and just keep them in your truck. A lot of the workouts you can do in your truck, but once again, it's up to you to get them and then actually stick to a routine. And then as far as hygiene, yes, I'll admit, like, there's some times where a lot of times where you don't get to shower every single day, which is a major turn on for some people. But there's upkeep that you could do, of course. You know what I'm saying? I wash my face every day still, and I get to shower like every other day. On rare occasions where, like, I have loads back to back to back, it might exceed that, but that's rare. And then even the same thing remains. You have to be able to find time to go shower, and sometimes you might just want to lay down. But I just say all to say, like, you don't have to make a huge sacrifice as far as doing the things that you feel that you need to be doing to maintain your health, but you know, it comes at a cost. You know, after long days, you still got to do what you need to do. All right, and last thing, so a couple videos ago when I was breaking down my pay structure, somebody had a comment on my video and he said that drivers make less than minimum wage, and then we kind of went back and forth, and this was the first time I was introduced to this concept, and I was like, there's no way. And it's not less than minimum wage, it's around like the low to mid 20s. But one thing that also kind of has been, I'm not gonna say bothering me, but that I've just been hip to, is that especially if you're on a structure like me or a schedule like me where you're going out 3-4 times, 3-4 weeks out of the month, the time that you, because everybody knows it's a known thing, we get paid by the mile. We're not on a salary or hourly wage, at least if you're OTR. Like, I know there's local jobs that pay by the hour, but if you really do take into consideration the time you're spending away from home and actually on the job, whether you're, you know, at a truck stop or off duty, you're still not at home. You're not making a lot of money, you know, in taking into consideration of how much time you're putting in. So that's something to really pay attention to, because if you think you're just gonna come in, especially off the bat, because, you know, like I mentioned before, there's more lucrative areas within trucking, especially, you know, once you get to know people and you get you know, more things under your resume. But at first, you know, you're going to be spending a lot of time out on the road, and you're not really going to be getting compensated for that unless you're driving. But the one thing that I do have to kind of say to dispute that is, that doesn't mean you can't make a lot of money. Like, if you're going out for 3-4 weeks, you can make a lot of money, just not in fair comparison to the hours that you're spending out, is what I'm trying to say. But you can make a lot of money, but if you're really just, you know, to do the details, I know I'm kind of repeating myself here, it's just that, you know, it kind of seems like you're getting scammed a little bit, which, you know, it does bother me. But, you know, in my situation where my bills are low, it's kind of a fair trade-off. Like, you know, I'm gone for a while, but when I get to come back, you know, usually I get to bring a good lump sum back, you know, if I'm spending 3-4 weeks. But it is kind of true. So that brings me to another thing what I just said, though. You really got to watch your spending when you get back home. You know, I'll be gone for like 4 weeks at a time, and then I'll get home, and then just because, you know, I've been, you know, basically trapped, you know, in my truck, you know, not really be able to go to the mall, restaurants, or whatever. Like, I'll get home, in the first 3 days I'm spending a lot of money. So that's another thing to be aware of, especially you're young, you got, you know, no bills. Do not do what I did at first, and I still be doing sometimes. I gotta clean it up. Don't, you know, spend all this time and effort out here risking your life really on the road, and just blow it all when you get back home. And then once you get back on the road, you're like, damn, like I did that whole trip. Somebody about to hit me. I did that whole trip. I was out for that many weeks, and I have nothing to show for it, and I'm back here on the road. It could be really deterrent. So that's really it. All those things I covered, just want to get off my chest. And another thing, last thing is, you know, develop some hobbies. That's one thing that I have been able to do. Like, you know, I've been able to shoot like, I think 10 videos so far since I've been driving, which is, you know, way more than I've ever done, because I've always wanted to make videos, but now I really have the time and there's no excuse. So find some hobbies: writing, reading. The thing about trucking and spending all this time out here, you can really, it could be to your detriment or it could be to a great benefit. Like, I remember telling my mentor, like, once I get on the road, I'm gonna learn so much, because, you know, I was expecting to just be listening to audiobooks all the time and just like learning different concepts all the time. I've fallen short of that a little bit, but it is true. Like, you know, it can get really destructive, like if you're just on a routine where you're just driving and then you're tired and then you're just scrolling through your phone. So, but if you use it and kind of build some disciplines, it could be a good thing. And you know, just building new skill sets. So that's really it. I just wanted to make a video about it, and if y'all got anything out of it, let me know. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. I'm about to cut the video off. I'm sweating. Gotta get this truck back on.